Welcome back. So glad you guys could join us on another great episode. And you'll probably hear me say that every time because I think that every episode is going to be great. On today's episode, I have another great guest. But more importantly, I hope that you guys can sit back, look at this as your own community. But more importantly, get comfortable, sit back, and be able to just not only feel God's love, but see God's glory in men's real stories. So cool. So on today's episode, I have a good friend that I met, I would say probably about maybe a year ago. And we met through our church, bumped into each other in a couple different occasions. And I felt like he would truly be a blessing, not only to, our listeners, men and women, but also to the younger generation who maybe speak a different language than I may speak sometimes, or may hear things differently, or looking for a story that truly touches them where they're at. And so without, don't want to prolong that, I want to introduce a good friend of mine, Key Jones, to the show today. Hey, welcome today, man. How you doing?
I'm feeling great, man. It's
Awesome.
love to be here, dog.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to have you here, man. So let me just go ahead and jump right in and just say, okay, introduce yourself to the listeners. Give them a quick bio of yourself. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Yeah, no. First off, my name's Key. Instagram's at Key Goofy, so kind of built the brand around that. But no, I'm originally from New Jersey, kind of Elizabeth, Rahway kind of area. Then I moved down to Charlotte about 2010. So I've been down here kind of ever since. And so really, I'm kind of from Charlotte. I've been down here longer, but it's kind of been me. But I'm currently in the internship for Elevation. I'm on the online team. I'm a huge sneakerhead. That's like the one thing about me that everybody kind of looks at me for. It's like I'm a huge sneakerhead, So if you ever happen to see me and look down at my feet, it's already on site when it comes to shoes. Everybody kind of just like he's the guy with the shoes. It's just like, that's me. I take pride in that.
Right.
Nah, I'm a real cool guy, real laid back, very relaxed. Super goofy guy, hence the Instagram name Key Goofy. So I just like to have fun, man. Just kind of play basketball, soccer, and kind of do my thing.
Okay. So you said you moved down from New Jersey. What brought you down to Charlotte?
So my mom's. So I had stayed with my mom's like all my life. My dad was in the picture, but they were like never really together. So I stayed with my mom's the whole time, and then she's originally from kind of parts of North Carolina, like Troy, Albemarle kind of area.
Okay.
And so she just was like, I've been to Charlotte. I think we should move. And it's honestly a blessing that we move. I think up north, shout out to all the north people living in the north. It's not bad. I just felt for me, it was a very like kind of dark place up there. So like coming down here to Charlotte, being in the south, it just kind of felt a lot better being out here.
Right. Well, I mean, if you haven't noticed, most people that come down from the north, they don't ever go back to the north.
Nah.
Unless they're going back to visit. I mean, I tell people, Northerners, and I had somebody that was from Jersey on here not too long ago, and he talked about how, even though he didn't want to move down here, once he got here, he realized, this is kind of cool. I can do this.
Southern living is different for sure.
Yeah,
it's different.
Yeah. What would you say? What would you say is the one difference, the biggest difference about living down here than up there?
Probably just the openness. Like you can kind of have a house and it's like right next to somebody. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have a yard, you can kind of be open and free. You got a lot of parks, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like you can kind of feel free to kind of do anything, run around kind of thing.
Right.
Up there in the north, it just was different. You know what I mean? Like it was just kind of like side by side houses, like townhomes, like even the houses that like you could really be in there like a house.
Right.
It was side by side. You ain't had no yard, no front yard, no nothing.
Right.
Like, you walk outside, you straight to the car. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
and it's on the street. You don't even have a driveway. So
Come
I mean,
on, man.
And look, I know all about the parking, the way you guys have to kind of like sometimes go and move your car in the middle of the day to the other side of the street. I experienced that one time, and I was like, this is not it. This is not living at all.
Yeah, nah. Playing it because we used to like play in the yard. Like down here in the south, like we play in the yard, but up there, like we play in the street. So like it's a different experience, but like playing in the yard is just a lot different than playing in the street. You ain't got to move out the way to cars and nothing like that. You can kind of relax. You can fall on the grass, you know what I mean?
Right.
Fall in the street is a different kind of game, you know what I mean? So
is that why they say y'all are like Ford tough up there?
Yeah,
like,
man.
Look, falling on the cement is nothing like falling in the grass.
Whoever grew up in the south, like man, y'all not soft, but y'all don't know that hard living.
Wait a minute now. Wait.
I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that.
Wait a minute.
You ain't got the same scrapes and bruises we got, but it's okay.
Okay, we'll take it. That's cool. We got different scrapes and bruises, but you know, we'll take that. We'll take that. So what is it about? Like, I noticed you said that you're a big time sneakerhead. What got you into that?
Really, it was one day I was looking at shoes, and I found this one pair. It's the Jordan 5 Oregon PE, the player edition. Okay. All green shoe. My favorite color is green. So I looked at the shoe and I'm absolutely in love with it. From there, just kind of like looking at different shoes and kind of built a liking to kind of seeing the shoes. And then over time, it wasn't just about shoes. It was kind of artwork to me. Right. Like I can kind of see the design behind it. I can see like the culture behind it. And so once I kind of get indulged in the culture, it just kind of took my life from there. So
nice. Okay. You know what? I can kind of agree with that. It always starts with one shoe. Oh, yeah. And at that point, the artwork just continues. It's almost like you're continuously adding to your art of like, oh yeah, but I need those two. That's a piece to this artwork, you know. And then when you sit back and look at your full collection, you're like, I think it's missing something still, and it always will be missing something. It's like it'll never be a complete art piece or masterpiece until like you just get to the point where you're like, okay, enough's enough. Yeah, I think I've reached this point, not because it's not done, but either because my finances say no, or like it's just I gotta stop now. But no, that's cool. That's cool. I can definitely agree. I have been in the past a serious sneaker addict, and I had to take a break from it all and step back and say, you know, you don't even go anywhere. Since the pandemic, those shoes spend more time looking at you than you do looking at them. So it's a tough balance. Like I would say for shoes, like a lot of people ask me like, hey, like, you know, when should I start getting into shoes, or like how do I get started? And I always tell them like, you know, start with some pairs and you get there. But like even I know guys who has like 150 pairs, like just sitting in the closet. I only have 30, and I'm at the point now where it's like I don't wear maybe 25 of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like 25 pairs of shoes sitting in my closet. So it's kind of two sides of looking at it. One way is like you just got shoes sitting in the closet, so you're not wearing them. Right. The other side to it is shoes will kind of always remain valuable, depending upon which ones you have. So I've had shoes that were valued at like probably $2,200, wore them a couple of times, and I sold them for probably 14. So it's kind of like one of those things that's kind of like shoes have value depending upon which ones you have. My son always tries to tell me, like, I'm like, yeah, but you dog those shoes. You really think you're going to sell those things? And I'm like, no, Dad, you don't understand. Like, these are going to sell for top dollar. You watch. I'm going to sell them for like $300. I give you like 100 right now.
Depends on who you sell it to.
Right. No, I get it. So tell me this. What's like your morning routine? What would you say your wake up morning routine is like on a daily basis?
Eek, you know.
That's
a wonderful question. My morning routine like absolutely sucks, and I'll be honest with that. I think it's kind of like a good thing. I think it's a wonderful thing for people to have good morning routines. Mine is just absolutely trash. Okay. The reason being is like I've spent so long just waking up and just getting ready for work, so it's kind of like I'll wake up, I kind of wash my face, brush my teeth, kind of thing, put on deodorant, kind of do my hair. Put on clothes and we do that, you know? That's just that. Right, okay. But I don't have like I wake up at like 7 o'clock, you know, I kind of get into the word, like I do this, do that.
No, that's real.
Yeah. I wake up and then I go to work. Right. But it's something that recently, especially in this process I'm going through with this internship, like kind of developing a morning routine, because I think the days that I have set up a morning routine, those days have been a lot better than the days of just me getting up. I think it just set myself up in the morning, being able to kind of put myself in a better position to kind of start my morning and start my day. Right. I think my days have been a lot better doing that than just kind of jumping into it and falling.
Gotcha. No, I can dig that. So I guess I would ask then, you know, you spoke about your internship. What led you to like saying, you know what, maybe I'll get into an internship, and what were you doing before that made you think, you know what, maybe this would be a better position of stepping over here into an internship aside from the previous just job you were working?
Right. For me, like, I mean, shout out to Carlos. You know, that's my guy. You know, he was kind of dropping eggs along the way for me to do this internship. But really, it was kind of like I was in this like motion of kind of like a hamster wheel. You know what I mean? Of life. I would just go to work 11 o'clock in the morning. I get off at 7 o'clock, start it over. And it just happened 5 days a week, and it was just kind of consistency. And I only saw the four walls of that place. Hey, shouts out to Soul Party. Like, I love my secret job for sure. But I just kind of put myself in this place where it was just kind of repetitive to me. And I just needed something that was like, I felt God was calling me to. And at the same time, something that I wanted to stretch myself in. The internship is not something that, like, I was like, you know what? It's going to be easy. I'm going to do it. I've already been here. I'm going to do these things. I've already been a youth coordinator for 2 years. Like, I'm going to just do it. It was more the things like, hey, I want to be challenged. I want to be stretched. I want to be grown. I want to build relationships that are going to break me down and better me. And so that was like that was the help that I had to make that decision, was kind of like, I want to grow. I want to be challenged, because I'm not challenging myself. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to challenge myself, and the things that I know I need to grow in, I'm going to have somebody else do it for me.
So what made you get out of that? Because, I mean, let's be real. I'm pretty sure it was a lot more comfortable just waking up and going to, you said you worked at a sneaker store. So that means you didn't get a check. You got paid with shoes, basically.
Hey, man, listen,
like,
yeah.
Look, I know you just paid me, but I've been eyeballing them shoes right there.
Let me take that home with me. Yeah.
But, like, what made you, because, I've learned that it is a lot easier to just be comfortable. And, and when you're used to something, you could look up and 20 years later, it's like, man, I've been so comfortable with this. I've been doing this for 20 years. What made you decide that, you know what, I'm going to take a road less traveled, maybe something that most people aren't doing, to attempt or try out, see where this will take me with this internship? Because when most people think internship, they think, okay, well, internship in maybe high school, or internship maybe while you're in college. What made you take a step over, or maybe vertical, or maybe up, whatever direction it took you? What made you say, you know, let me try my hand at this?
I think it was more of like just personally how I've been in my relationship with Christ. I just said yes blindly. That was really what it was, you know, because I've had in the past, like, I've had trouble trusting in his plan, in a sense. Usually I try to figure out what the plan looks like and how I'm gonna be able to figure it, like, do my thing, and then say yes to the plan. This was the first time ever, I feel like, maybe one of the few times in my life, this one more evident, that I was like, you know what, God, yes. You know what I mean? Like, God, yes. And that literally was just it. It wasn't like a, you know, how is this going to work? Like, how am I going to do this? I'm like, God, yes. And from that point, I put in the application, and I was like, hey, if I get in, this is your will. If I don't, this is your will. I got in. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to try to figure it out. I'm not going to try to step in your way. I'm not going to try to plan it out for you, alongside you. I'm going to just say yes. I'm going to follow suit with what you have for me. And I think that opened me up to be able to grow the most, because I don't have any expectations. You know what I mean?
Right. No, you know what? Hey, look, I'm sitting over here like, you know what? It's funny. I was just recently telling somebody, in our yes, man, there's so much power in just sometimes saying, I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing, but okay, God, you know what? You got me. And I'm going to go ahead and just say yes, not knowing all the details, because we don't normally know all the details. We don't know where that's going to take us or what that's going to do. And it's funny, because I spent a lot of my weekends in moments where I decided to sign up to serve somewhere. Never done it before. But I'm like, you know what? Sure, God, yes. And I was just talking to a guy yesterday that was like, his wife kind of pushed him out the house and was like, why don't you just go? Like, you, and he's like, yeah, but I mean, and I tell people, in your yes, there's a blessing.
Oh, for sure.
There is a huge blessing in your yes. You just got to get uncomfortable or step into the unknown of like, I don't know what's about to happen with this, but you know what though? You know what, God? It's a yes for me.
Yeah.
And in that, he'll meet you right there. He'll meet you. And I tell people, a blessing doesn't always look the way we might think it's going to look. Like, sometimes we always think a blessing. A lot of people think of a blessing as like it's a financial blessing, or like you know, a lot of people think of it from a financial standpoint or from something tangible, something they can touch. But I've learned that sometimes a blessing can be something somebody can drop some wisdom on you. Somebody can drop an assignment on you where you're like, Oh wow, you feel like I'm the person for that? Oh,
Right.
okay. Like we never know what's at the other end of our yes, and in our yes, I've experienced just yesterday how in my yes certain things, certain doors were open where I meet certain people or I experience certain things, and God will meet me right there. And I love how he'll drop. He doesn't always, it's not about him always looking for his voice. Sometimes he'll speak through other people, or he'll speak through signs that you see where you're just like, oh wow, okay, like now you're just showing off, like
Yeah.
now, that,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
yo, you a whole show off guy, like
feel that.
you the way you work sometimes, and the way you drop certain moments to where I leave the day like, man, I can't do anything but thank you for that. Like
Yeah.
that
Right.
was mean, God. That was so cool. Like it'll be hard to explain this to somebody else and they truly get how impactful it was to me and what's
Right.
going on in my life, because not everybody understands what we're going through,
Right.
or what got us to this point. So yeah, no, that's cool. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
man. I think a lot of, I believe a lot of kind of spaces of laziness and kind of that space of like not being able to step out and do something, a lot of that will be able to change it if you just give a yes. You know what I mean? Like somebody's like, hey, yo, like, can you help me out with this? And, you know, a lot of people's naturals, if they're in that space, a lot of people's natural answer is like, I mean, sure. Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right.
But I think if you give a strong yes, you know, somebody asks you a question, if God's like calling you to something, you just say yes, and you just go with it. I think
Right.
a lot of things are going to be broken by you doing that because you're not thinking about it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You're not thinking about how, oh, you have to do this or you got to do that. It's just like, yo, yes, I got you. And I
Right.
think the more you build that consistency, the more that you will understand the maturity in yes and being able to say yes, because yes can be just an answer.
Right.
You can say yes, it don't mean nothing.
Right.
But I think once you understand the maturity of a yes, you'll kind of really feel the weight of that. You'll feel the power in being able to say yes to something, saying yes to something that God's calling you to.
No, that's really cool. That's dope. So outside of like your internship and your sneaker gig and I know you know everybody has seen you at different places. A lot of people may have seen you in the mall because you worked in the mall.
I
So they
did,
knew
yeah.
you knew you for the sneaker guy, at the sneaker store, and then some people know you at church as you do your internship at the different locations we have and all that. Outside of those things, what people know about what you do. Who is Key? Like what is it that most people don't know about you? Like what is it that inspires you and has truly motivated you in your life and the directions it's taken? But more importantly, who are you?
That's tough,
I know
man.
that's all right. I know.
That's heavy, and the reason why it's heavy for me is because I'm a pretty secluded person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a pretty quiet person. A lot of times, I like to say I'm an isolated person.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, behind the scenes, like if you see me out, you know, if you see me at church, you see me at the store, even if you see me in public, like I'm pretty vibe of a dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just me, like behind the scenes of stuff like that. I'm a pretty chill person. Like there are only a few people, and maybe a couple, maybe like one or two people that really know me and kind of see me. But me behind the scenes, man, it's just I'm chill. You know what I mean? Very reserved. You know, I like to watch a lot of TV, watch a lot of movies. I'm a huge movie person, and I just kind of chill. I listen to music a lot. One thing I do is I love to write poetry. That's the one thing that I kind of sit and like. That's just me. A lot of people don't know that is I write
Right.
poetry. So it's it's tough. You know what I mean?
What inspired the poetry? I mean, like what yeah you can't just say that without we gotta
You know, a lot of times I try to
scratch
escape past that. You know, not too many people be like, "Yeah, let me dig into that real quick."
it. Right.
The poetry is inspired. Like I'm very creative. I don't know if anybody watches, like they know the Enneagram. I'm an Enneagram 4, which is probably the most creative Enneagram number. But I'm super creative, and I never liked English. In
Okay.
school, I hated English, but when I'm writing creatively and being able to put words together to kind of make a whole thing that makes sense, that was beautiful to me.
Right.
And so reading poetry was always beautiful to me. And then I wrote it one time, and it was, to me, it was good.
Okay.
And from there, it was always a thing that I ran to anytime that I was in a struggle, anytime that I was happy, anytime that I was feeling any kind of emotion, and I just kind of wanted to put it on paper. I'd write poetry.
Okay.
To kind of create an art piece kind of thing.
Now, would you say that was something that you may have in the past been maybe ashamed to like really kind of like open up to people? Because you know how it is sometimes when it comes to like people. Like, think about this: were you a diary guy growing up?
I was not.
Okay.
Was
now
not
see how you laugh?
Yeah.
Like immediately when a guy says like, yeah, I used to write in a diary. It's like,
yeah.
Okay. Would you? I don't know. It seems it's almost like it takes away from the masculine part of that man, and that you wrote in a diary. But as you write, I'm sure as you write poetry, you realize that it's almost like you putting your thoughts. It's almost like journaling in your own way of putting your thoughts and words on paper. How do you? What would you say when it comes to like the thought of like journaling? Like when it comes to putting your life and your feelings on paper, do you feel like that takes away from the sense of what men try to say is that that's not masculine?
I definitely feel that for sure when it comes to journaling. I think, just from how people kind of have that stereotype or that outlook on men in general, or at least masculinity. If a guy's journaling, especially before, I think nowadays we've kind of stepped in, the right direction of, kind of really seeing men's emotions. But for a guy to journal, I mean, that was kind of like, are you good? Like, what are you going through right now? But like a girl who journals, like, she's like journaling everything, like the guy she likes and how her day was and all.
Right.
But if I was like writing down, like, no, my day was like good, like I like this girl, like, are you good?
So wait,
that's kind of weird.
You're not thinking. Okay, so you're thinking about a daily like log of what you did. So like what I've learned is like journaling sometimes is like getting down your thoughts. It's like putting down how you're feeling at the moment, like, or what, because I realize that sometimes, like, when we try to, like, keep our thoughts and our feelings and all pent up, it's like, it starts to, like, really bother us because we're not expressing it to anybody and we're not jotting it down. So, like, I realize it like a journal, as I used to think, I'm not writing in a diary. I'm not gonna journal my daily thoughts and then lock it away with the little key and put it under my bed. But like I realize like with our thoughts sometimes, if we don't jot down like what or process it in a manner of like putting it down on paper or speaking to somebody, because like don't get me wrong, a journal can also be like going to therapy of like okay, like I'm going to sit here and instead of writing it down, I'm going to talk to this person about it. And they're going to start the differences. They're going to start asking me questions back. My journal may not be able to ask me those questions back, but it starts with sometimes going to somebody to ask you the right questions so you can ask yourself the right questions at a later date to like write that down. Like, okay, like, because it helps you start to like almost like verbal vomit it all on paper. So you can like sit back and look at it and be like, okay, dang. And it's funny because as you flip through the pages, you see how you progress. Like, okay, today I'm not, but like last week, man, I was going through it. Like when I look back, like that's crazy. So when it comes to your own poetry, would you say that like, does it ever allow you to be able to put what you're processing onto paper, or is it more of like what would you say is more like a rap style of like, okay, like I'm kind of like just freestyling on paper. Like, what is it more so for you?
It's both. I'll say on the side of being able to process my thoughts, the way I look at it is you have a lot of thoughts in your head, and the way that you process them is kind of letting them out in a flow. So whether you talk to a person or you put it on paper, like either way, you're letting your thoughts kind of come out and kind of leave your mind in a sense. And so for poetry with me, like a lot of times, like writing it out, it was me writing down the thoughts that I was having, the emotions, the feelings, the things that I was going through, being able to write them out and kind of let it out of my head, because the more I pent it up in my head was like, I'm about to burst at some point. And that's what a lot of times what happens is we think so much and we take in so much that at some point, if we don't let it out or we don't process it, we'll just bust. And then now we're in a place where we're just on the ground and now we're hurting. We don't know what happened, but what really happened is that you just didn't process what you're thinking and process what you're going through.
Right.
And so through poetry, I did that. And then on the other side of poetry, like, again, just me being creative, I've written songs, you know what I mean? They've not been great, but you know what I mean? Like I've been able to creatively do something like that. You know what I'm saying?
You might have to get one of those songs. Have you perform one? No, I'm joking. I would not do that to you.
Nah, but I will say, like, even just I have one. I did a spoken word one time,
okay.
and that right there probably was, I believe to this day, is probably one of the most beautiful pieces I've ever written, and only a handful of people have heard it.
Okay. Is this where I say, would you like to do that now?
That's on your show. That's your show, man.
Dude, listen to me. I'm never going to turn down an opportunity for people to hear something that you just said was the most. We want to experience that beautiful thing. If you'd like to share it with us.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Okay. All right. Okay.
We'll see.
All right. While you're pulling that up, I know that we have lately, especially amongst the youth at the church, a big topic that we've been talking about is our mental health and how, right.
Yeah, man.
And how important that is to spend a lot of time focusing on that and not just brush that to the side.
Right.
What do you feel is something that how do you personally focus or work on daily dealing with your own mental health, and how do you process? How do you feel? How do you go about moving or navigating through working on Key?
The whole topic of mental health with me kind of.
And don't put the phone away because we want to hear that.
No, we good. No, we're gonna take a break. I'm fine.
Okay, all right.
But the whole thing with mental health with me is that's kind of the one thing that I've struggled with, like pretty much a good amount of my life. I'm a person that lives in my head, so all mental thing, like it's just where I live at. That's where all the good things happen. That's where all the bad things happen for me. And so just throughout life, like I've definitely been in places like where it was hard for me to kind of grasp that. I've been in places where it felt like I was in depression, where I had high anxiety, like things of that nature. And it was just like, I didn't know what that was, but I knew that was because I just wasn't taking care of myself. It wasn't up until maybe a few months ago that I realized that I never took care of my mental health. So a lot of the things that I went through, a lot of the things that I've seen, a lot of places that I've been negatively was because I didn't take care of myself mentally. Right. A lot of times where I crashed, a lot of times where I kind of saw a bad side of myself that wasn't anything anybody should have seen, was because I didn't take care of my mental health. I think a lot of people don't pay attention to that enough. And I think now it's good that we're bringing awareness to it, especially with our youth catalogs and stuff. We're kind of talking about mental health. I think it's good because a lot of people don't think about that because it's mental. You know what I mean?
Right.
They figure, I just figured out. I think it through. We're good. Right. No, like you got to be able to take care of your mental, and because your mental kind of carries you everywhere else.
Right. Yeah, I mean, literally, your mind is what you stay in all day long.
Right.
And so if it's almost like a dirty room, it's like, okay, like, hold on, I got to navigate this. Oh, yeah, I'll put that away another time. Yeah, I don't have time to clean that up today. But like, what would you say you were doing, or how was it showing up in your life, not dealing with your mental health or dealing with a lot of, just staying in your head, whether it was like overthinking things or whatever? How did that look in your life that you could recognize personally to where it was showing up and it was coming out, or it was causing hurt, whether it be to yourself or to others?
The one word I say is isolation.
Okay,
that is the one word that I use. I just did a sevens teaching about that, kind of being vulnerable in that space of talking about my isolation. That's what I did. Anytime I would just go by myself. If I was in a group setting, I would be isolated in my mind. I would be in a group, I'd be physically present, but I wasn't present. You know what I mean? And so in those times where my mental health was just bad, or it just was on the rise and I just wasn't taking care of it, I would isolate myself. Okay. I'd go to spaces where I just was absolutely alone. I would be in positions where I'd be in my room in the dark, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Right. Next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting there, and it's just like I spent what is that 9 hours or so just in darkness. Like it took me to those spaces.
Okay, but like when you were isolating though, did you find yourself just listening inside of your head of what the thoughts were that were coming at you, or did you try to like? Because I know, like for instance, I've learned that isolation sometimes you can isolate yourself in a certain setting to where you're receiving and you're putting yourself in a place to be able to, whether it be hear from God, whether it to be quiet all the noises that are in your head that are trying to tell you or speak negative to yourself.
Right.
And so in those moments when you're sitting there hearing yourself, your own voice tell you, I don't have what it takes, or like, what if they don't allow me to do this, or what if they don't listen, or what if I'm not the guy, or what if, you know, in those moments of isolation, how does it, when you finally walk away from that, what does it feel like? Like, what is it like?
You mean walking away from just that space of
isolation? just isolation in yourself.
Like, how did I come out of that?
Well, more so, how did it feel when you stepped away after I guess isolating yourself for so long and trying to, I guess normally when you isolate, what are you actually trying to get out of that, or why do you do that?
Oh, really? I mean, when I go in places of isolation, I just don't want to be around people. I mean, I love people. Like that's really the heart of my life right now. Like, just always has been.
Right.
But I just don't want to be around people. I don't want people to see that side. And kind of what happens in that space of isolation, just because I don't think anybody should be around that, and I don't want to subject to anybody kind of catching that contagiously. And this is not, when I say like when I'm around people, I kind of my mood or my vibe kind of influences others in a sense. And I don't mean that in a conceited way or anything like that. Like,
no, I get it.
In a real sense, like I've noticed like, just the way that I carry myself in a group setting, like other people's kind of catch on to my vibe.
And they vibe off of you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they can look at you and all of a sudden they can just feel like, hey, are you, you all right? You're not interested? Okay, like now I feel like maybe I should shut down because he doesn't. And look, it's funny how that's what I mean sometimes when I say like our vibe is contagious. Right. And so if we're not, if people are vibing off of us and they may be excited about something, they may be telling you something that they're truly like ecstatic about, and they can look up at you and you're like, oh wait, am I boring you? I'm sorry. Like, and they'll apologize for being excited about what they're going through, but what they don't understand is that I'm going through something as well, and I'm hearing you, but like the voices in my head right now are pulling me into isolation where I'm like I'm being sucked back in to like hear them more than you right now, and it's like I want to be there, I want to be present, but I'm having trouble being present. Yeah, because either I'm stuck in something that happened last week, yesterday, last month, whenever. Yeah. Or I'm trying to process how this is going to look in the future. Exactly. What's going to happen? Like, how's this going to play out tomorrow? Man, I don't know if it's good enough. I don't know if they're going to like it. I wonder if they're going to choose me. I wonder if I'm gonna, there's so many different questions. Is she mad at me? I wonder if, whether it be in relationships, whether it be in our internships, of like, okay, like, am I the right person for this job? They got a project for me next week, and I don't know if I'm the guy. I mean, we'll talk ourselves out of situations and a lot of different things, and we'll, like you said, we'll isolate sitting right in front of a person and not really be able to be present in that moment with them. Man, that just got me thinking. Like, I'm like, wow, I'm thinking about how I personally have done that. I mean, even with my kids, sometimes I'll be sitting right in front of them, and like, I'm thinking about like, wait a minute, did I finish that up? Is my boss gonna be cool with that? Wait a minute, maybe I need to go grab my laptop. Right. I don't remember him responding back. Maybe he didn't like it. And we'll go through so many different thoughts of like, wait, and we can't be present because we have that anxiety of what happens if it's not good enough. Right.
But you, in that real quick, you also got to understand what I've had to come to the realization of, which was very hard for me, is that you have to understand that you are being selfish and that you are idolizing yourself. you are truly idolizing yourself when you do that. If I'm in front of another person and they're telling me whatever it is, whether it's about how their day is going or about something that they're going through, and I'm thinking about myself, or the voices in my head is louder than the other person, and I'm listening to that, you got to understand you're idolizing yourself. You care more about yourself. You care more about your isolation. You care more about the things going on in your life, that you are not listening to somebody else.
Right.
And that is being selfish.
Right.
But this is hard for me to, even today, it's hard for me to speak. And it's surprising me that I'm saying that, because there's so many times that I've done that.
Right.
Not on purpose. Not that I don't care about the other person or care about the other person says, but to the core of it, what is that really saying? That I'm thinking more about myself than I am the other person. That is truly saying that I'm selfish and I'm idolizing myself.
Okay. Well, now hold on. Let's because there's a lot of situations where you can look at things and you can hear them, but look, you can truly be present for them, and still have things going on in your head, but you won't turn around and they'll say, "Hey, look, how was your day?" And what will you say? What is your answer?
My answer today would be
okay.
I'm straight.
Right. I'm straight.
Which is different than before. Before, I'd say I'm good. I'm good. But what I started doing is creating a habit of lying.
Right. Exactly.
Which is not good.
Okay. Correct. Because you're not really good. You're honestly, you're not even straight. Now, maybe straight to some people means like, okay, you're not good. What's going on?
Exactly.
But even in them asking you that, you won't turn around and you won't say, you know what? I got a lot on my mind.
Nah, it just won't happen.
Okay, so let's talk about it then.
Why
why will that not? Why? Even at your age, why can we not speak on what's really going on and like what's going on in our head and what we're struggling with?
I think for the mass majority, and I'm only speaking from, I feel like a place that I've seen is that, especially for men.
Yeah, that's what we're speaking to right now. Yeah,
is you don't want to feel like you don't have it together. And that's a feeling that I've had, because you're letting somebody else know that you are hurt or that you're broken or that you're going through this thing. And what that shows, or what you think that shows to the other person, is that you don't have it together.
Right.
That you don't have things tight.
Right.
That you are not doing the things that a man should. And I think you don't want to let somebody else know that, because once somebody else knows that, and you think that they're thinking that, then you're also going to think that, oh, he ain't as a man, like he ain't as good as a man that I thought he was.
Right.
You know, he doesn't have, that kind of oomph to him. But that's really what it is. And for me personally, the reason why I don't do that, it has more to do with vulnerability, which it could, a lot of men could relate to. But for me, it just depends on who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't have many people that I have trust in my inner circle to be able to be like, hey, listen, I'm going through X, Y, and Z, to where they'll be like, oh, yeah, I understand. I'm here for you. I'm listening to you.
So what would they normally do if you let's just say, because I'm sure you have tried it out. You have tested the waters to be like, well, maybe I should express how I feel right now.
Right.
And in that moment of when you did that, what happened? What transpired when you try? Because we always have all tried. It's almost like we test to see if the stove is hot. It's like, oh, yep, nope, not ever. I don't ever need to touch that again. It's hot. I can tell you it's hot. What happened when you tried that out?
There's been many situations where people ask me like, are you okay, or like, what's going on? And I would be honest about it, not trauma dumping on anybody, but I'd be honest about what I'm going through in that moment or how I'm feeling, and their reaction really is priceless. Like, they just don't know how to react. They kind of hit you with the, well, I'm sorry to hear that. If you need anything, I'm here for you. And it's just that.
Do you feel that they're actually here for you, like when in saying that?
I think it comes from a good place. I don't think that truly, if I needed them, I don't think that they'd be there for me. Okay. That's what I felt in the past.
Yeah, that's honest.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people do that all the time. And even just with as simple as saying, like, I'll pray for you, Okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I had my 15 seconds of me sharing what I'm going through.
Right.
Not that I'm asking you to like kind of drop this profound knowledge on me, or like you to give me a word, or for you to kind of bring me out of where I'm feeling. But a lot of times, and I feel like for a lot of men, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like a lot of men just really need to be felt like they're loved.
Right.
That's what men need.
Well, no. First of all, you're definitely not wrong. So, like, understand, you everything you are saying is valid, and and it's coming from a place of where you've been, and because regardless of what the next man goes through or whatever, it doesn't make what you're saying not correct. And yes, no, I agree. I agree with you. And you know, as men, think about it. We know what it's like to sit back and listen to another person and what they're going through. Right. And as men, what are we? What do we normally want to do? Go ahead, say. What do we want to do when we hear a person talking about, like, yeah, and this happened and that happened? I mean, no matter who it is, what are our instincts of, like, what are we already processing in our head? I'll let you go ahead and say it so I don't have to say it.
I mean, just to help.
Right.
Yeah.
We want to fix. Like, we want to fix. Like, and I know a lot of us have seen that little skit where, you know, the man's listening to his significant other, whether it's his wife or girlfriend, and she's talking about how, and this happened, and I've had this huge headache, and my head has been throbbing, and every time I put a sweater on, it tears, and he's sitting there staring at her, and there's a nail in her head. There's a whole nail sticking out of her head. And he's like, yeah, but I think I know what it is. And the whole time the guy's trying to, like, I just want to fix it. I just want to, and she's like, no, stop focusing on the nail in my head. You're not listening to me. Wow. And he's like, yeah, but no, you don't understand. I want you to stop trying to fix it. And what that really is saying is that as men, we're too busy automatically on the defensive, like, let me fix it.
Right.
Let me fix it. Right. What do I have to do to fix this? Instead of saying, listen, the best way that I could fix this for you right now is to be present.
For sure.
I want to be present.
Right.
I want to sit with you in this right now. Now, as men, I've learned that, okay, if a woman was to tell you, or a friend, it could be another man, it could be anybody. If a person was to tell you, hey, look, you know what? I don't only want to just pray with you right now, but I want to walk with you through this. I want to be with you through. I want to try to help you to the best of my ability to process what you're going through. Yet, yes, I know I can say all the things in the world to give you the warm and fuzzy, but at the end of the day, when you go back into isolation, you're by yourself, right?
For sure.
There's nobody else around you, and a lot of times we need somebody to lean on. The problem is like you said, with vulnerability, I don't know who to be vulnerable with. I don't know who to open up and say, you know, I'm trying to process a lot of emotion and different things, and you don't want to process this with me. Right. You probably, and even if I'm able to open up and tell you what I'm going through, what am I gonna get? I'll pray for you, brother. Man, let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. Like, and it's like, yeah, get me a new brain, a new mind would help. If I could just dump all of this, and that's exactly what we need to do. Right. I need to be able to dump this, even if there's nothing you can do about it. I need to be able to just process this and say this stuff out loud, because I've realized when you process it by finding somebody, and this is the important part of finding somebody that will give you that safe space. And that is one of my words of the year as well. It allows you that place to sit down with a person and feel like it's safe for me to open up. It's safe for me to pour all this out. I don't feel like it's going to come back and I'm going to be less of a man. Because as you said earlier, you were like, yeah, it doesn't feel manly. It doesn't feel macho to not have it all together. We're supposed to have it all together. Right. But I would say, on the other hand, let's be honest. Let's be 100% honest, man. We don't. I don't care how much you think you have it all together. We don't have it all together. Right. If we could all just admit that we're not perfect. We want to be perfect. We're shooting for perfection, but perfection is not really obtainable. Right. We want to seem like we have it all together, because if we don't, then we feel like that person is judging us. Like, look at this guy right here. Like, I got it all together. But the truth of the matter is even if you feel like he's saying he has it all together, he doesn't. He ain't got it. He done. Nah. And so you can. But your problem is that you're sitting there like, he's judging me right now. Right. He's judging me, and so you know what? I'm not going to expose myself for not knowing what I'm doing, or knowing where I'm going, or how I'm living right now. And that's why I just stay in the comfort area, because if I get uncomfortable, then it looks like I'm still trying to figure life out. Right. So we'll keep ourselves in isolation. We'll keep ourselves in a state of being captive by our own thoughts, just so we can look like we got it all together.
That's true.
And it's like, when will we get to the point where we realize that it's in doing all of that, it's in looking like, and feeling as though we're making it seem like to everybody else that we have it all together, is where we're going wrong. We're not really helping ourselves. And I don't know if you agree with me on that, and that you can look back now and see how I'm fine, I'm good. Maybe to a lot of people, that's the answer they're going to get, because
For sure.
you're not the person that I would relay how I'm really doing.
Right.
But I'm also cool with sometimes just being like, you know what? I'm not that good right now. I'm not doing that good. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to process it. I'm trying to deal with it. I'm so tired of lying and telling everybody I'm fine and I'm good. Yeah. It outside of it being a lie, I'm lying to myself a lot of times and telling myself I'm fine and I'm good, but I'm not. Yeah. And so eventually, it creeps up and it wears you out of telling yourself I'm fine, I'm good, but I'm not. Like, it's like the other side of my mind is telling me, yeah, okay, you can keep lying to yourself, but you're not good. You're really not good. You're hurting right now.
Yeah.
You ready to deal with that hurt? Nope. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, we're here whenever you're ready to process it and deal with it. Same with like therapy. Like a lot of people think that if we go to therapy, what does that showcase to other people?
Oh, we got problems.
we got problems.
You going to therapy, you got problems.
Okay. Is it true though?
It's not. I mean, hey.
Is it true?
It is true.
Okay.
That we do have problems.
We all do,
but there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
It's okay.
Right.
To embrace them.
Okay, so let's change the word problems. Let's because see, a lot of people feel like when we go to therapy we have problems or we're broken. Right. And I would like to, if it's okay with you, I would like to change that terminology to, it's not that we have problems or that we're broken, because honestly we were all born needing help processing things.
Right.
A lot of it is that I am looking to grow outside of what I am telling myself, what I am hearing. And in going into therapy, a lot of the times what that allows you to do is it allows you to introduce yourself into a place where already that person is creating this perfect safe space for you. The space where you can fit you, if you truly realize it's a safe space, you'll realize, okay, so I can open up about everything that's going on. And that's exactly where your healing is, in opening up. Because if you sit there and just like, I just got to come here to, like just sitting here and listen to you. Well, they don't have anything to talk about. It's not about them talking. It's about you opening. So if you don't open up, you don't get anywhere. You just stay stuck in what you have to leave out of there with and continue to process on your own.
Right.
So in all of that, I would say, it's not that we're broken or that we don't have it all together and that's why we're going to therapy. We're going because we need somebody to help us in a manner of processing and feeling what we are going through, because it's not until we feel it. I'm talking about like feel it. Like a lot of people, they run from that hurt that they experience. Right. But it's not till you feel it, to you, and that sucks. Yeah. Yes, let's go ahead and just cover that. Everybody wants healing, but nobody wants to do the work. Yeah. Everybody wants to grow, but nobody wants to do the work. It sucks having to go back and remember what you went through as a child. It sucks trying to remember what you went through in high school that time with all those kids. It sucks going back into your memory to understand why you've been doing this for so long, due to the fact of what happened to you, because you got to relive it again in your mind. You got to process how it felt. So if that makes us crazy for going to counseling, then congratulations. We're
crazy.
Yeah. And the best thing we could ever do, and a lot of people hate the word crazy, so because it's a negative, it's a negative word, and that nobody wants to be crazy. But like, everybody wants to be healed from things. Everybody wants to process it and not allow that to continue to be a rerun in their head constantly.
Right. For sure.
But like outside of like you saying that you sometimes you may isolate, or you may, unless we do, like, and I tell people, I my own personal tools, I like to meditate now. I understand the importance of meditation. Yeah. Like that right there. I never realized the purpose of meditation until I started doing it and realizing that it's like taking a break from all the thoughts in your head. The thoughts that swallow you up in your isolation. It's like saying, okay, hey, look, how about this? Everybody be quiet. And we're going to focus on something else. And it's almost like you clearing out your entire, it's like you taking everything, and it's like, I'm cleaning this room real quick for a second. I'm going to shove y'all in the closet. I'm going to shove y'all under the bed. We're going to make this room look clean and quiet for a second, so I can actually just stop and not let my mind run everything that's going on. Right. Whether it's running how you feel, how your heart's feeling, what your heart's telling you, your emotions and everything else. But it gives you just a moment just to just pause from all of it for a second. Another big one, I love therapy now. Man, call me what you want to call me. I love therapy. I love allowing another person. A lot of people think it's another person giving you advice. I love the fact that somebody can like do what we stopped doing as a kid, which is asking ourselves why. Mm-hmm. Think about it. We all stopped doing that as a kid. So why is that? I know a lot of people are like, no, all they do is ask you how that makes you feel. Well, yeah, they ask you that too, but they start to hit on like, but why is that though? And a lot of times we don't have the answer for that, but there is an answer. It's just a matter of like looking past whatever you lied to yourself and told yourself, like, okay. And so, yeah, I mean, as far as mental health and as far as like just dealing with those things, I honestly, I really didn't start dealing with mine. You may say, man, I don't know. I didn't start dealing with mine till 40. Mm-hmm. And I can sit back and look and say, man, why did I take so long? What took me so long to deal with it? But like you said, sometimes we don't know. And we're programmed by every other man who tells us, no, we just push through. We just do what we got to do. Right. So yeah, no, I would definitely, say that it's hugely important. And I had forgot about that poem, man. We would love to hear your beautiful your poem, if you would like to share that with us, because I feel like that might be just the perfect maybe outro to this conversation, to this episode.
All right, yeah, for sure. I got you. I just pulled it up right here. So, just to give a little context, there was a night that we had for school, kind of like a fundraising kind of night, and I was asked to do a spoken word, and I've never written a spoken word a day in my life. Okay. Poetry was always kind of like the A-B kind of like how you like write songs and like kind of how you do that. Right. Spoken words like are different. They don't follow any kind of like pattern or anything like that. Right. But I wrote this, and again, I was this is 2019. So I mean, like, you'll probably hear some, like some stuff about, love or whatever. But like, I think this was probably one of the things that I really put myself into, and that I really wrote out. So, but yeah, I'm gonna do this for y'all. I ain't never.
You want me to introduce you like we're coming on to a spoken word stage?
No, you ain't gotta do that.
All right, go ahead. I'll let you.
Yeah, for sure. So, have you ever tripped and fell, hurt, and unable to get up? The weight of your confusion bearing down on you like you were lost in a sea of trees? Or how about you find yourself doing things you never thought you'd be doing, like walking in the mud without shoes, or staring at your phone waiting for a call, or standing in the middle of the street while it's pouring down raining and you're fully clothed, like you didn't know your clothes would be soaked? Or how about thinking of someone and getting a headache, but one of those good headaches, the ones that got you hurting but smiling at the same time? Or looking at someone, getting foreign feelings and emotions, looking at their qualities and their flaws and thinking, wow, I love you. seeing the beauty in what's imperfect, seeing found in what's lost, seeing the goodness in the pain and believing in it because the love that was born resides deep in your soul, making you sacrifice and believe with all you've got inside of you like you've got nothing to lose. This is love, the purest form of happiness, whether it starts out with roses or reds or violets or blue or starts out with hi, my name is. Love isn't shallow, for it is the depth that causes the desires of our heart to break out of dormancy and become a new vision, a new way of living. Love is an equalizer, bringing together people who are different than one another and allows them to look past the differences and kill the indifference.
Yeah, okay, man. Look, that's so much to unpack, man. We could do another whole episode just breaking that down, right. Well, no, that was dope. I appreciate you sharing that, man. Look, I'm still sitting here like kind of like just rotating those words around, like, wow, that was deep. So you wrote that when?
It's 2019, so it was my senior. I think it was my junior year of high school, 2018, 2019.
Okay. Very cool. No, I appreciate you sharing that. And I appreciate your time here today, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on, just opening up. As I tell people, I appreciate when a person can come on and at least crack the door to vulnerability and
right.
kind of step into that, knowing that we don't deserve that, but we appreciate you. Opening up and being vulnerable about how you feel and about some of the different things that you're going through and truly how you look at it, because it's your view. And as I tell people, there is no wrong or right. There's no, am I wrong? No, how you feel is exactly how you're supposed to feel. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. Yeah. I appreciate you, joining me today. And I appreciate all my listeners that joined us today. Definitely appreciate you taking the time out to really be able to sit back and really enjoy that conversation. You got any like closing words or any closing remarks for us?
From just what we talked about, first of all, just thank you, man, for allowing me to be on here. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. It's my first ever podcast I've ever been on, so I think being able to have my first, kind of with one of the great guys, it's been amazing. And I kind of say lasting words like. It's from the things that we talked about, like, and this is to anybody, not just men or anything like that, but like really be able to take the time to understand what you're feeling. I think that's one of the most important things that you kind of need is to be able to understand what you're feeling, because there's no change without you first understanding what you're going through or you processing it. And however you process that, whether you process it by yourself or with another person, like just make sure you do that, because we definitely want to take care of our mental health these days.
Right.
It's 2022, man. We're about to hit 2023, and we don't want to carry that into us next year.
Right. Yeah. Stuff. But yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that, bro. And sure. I definitely appreciate you joining us today. I appreciate all our listeners for joining us today. Definitely hope that you could take something maybe resonated in the conversations we had today. Hope that this blessed you. Hope that you continue to join us. Definitely gonna put my brother's information down if you want to follow him and maybe even reach out to him and thank him for blessing you with the conversation today. Thank all my listeners. Hope you guys continue to be blessed. Hope you continue to feel God's love and see God's glory in Men's Real Stories and future conversations and past conversations. So hopefully you're subscribing and you're joining us for other conversations. Thanks so much.
Hey, we appreciate you listening today and hope that if you enjoyed the conversation and stories, you will subscribe and listen to past and future content. Feel free to comment, as we would love to read your comments and pray over all of our listeners. Also, please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at God's Glory and Men's Real Stories.
We understand as men how the thought of even facing your own story and the pain and hurt that come with that is a challenging task. But we don't want you to feel like you are all alone, because you are not. God has not forgotten you or left your side, and He loves you no matter what you have done. Your healing is important to Him. And we want you to have these free resources that already exist if you're considering giving up or need someone to talk to. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number is 1-800-273-8255. If you need support but are not in crisis, consider reaching out to a warm line if you need to talk to someone. Speaking to someone on these calls is typically free and confidential and run by people who understand what it's like to struggle with mental health. Find a local number by going to warmline.org.